summer pledgeable innings. The Atlanta Hawks are sending John Collins to the Utah Jazz for Rudy Gay and a second-round pick. The winner-take-all Game 3 of the College World Series getting underway right now between Florida and LSU. Extra innings with Pledger next.
This is Extra Innings with Pledger.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history. A walk-off home run.
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Good evening, San Antonio. Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger. You can follow me on Twitter at I am Pledger. Also follow the station at SA Sports Star. Great way to get a hold of me, as well as on our YouTube channel. Follow SA Sports Star, subscribe, like, and comment along with the show. You can also get us on 656 ESPN, 210-656-3776. Be a part of the conversation. You can call or text there. We'll get to you. But, man, what a wild half week this has been. Ever since Thursday, when it became official that Victor Wembanyama became a San Antonio Spur, life here in San Antonio has changed. There is pep in everyone's step. There is a smile on everyone's face. Everybody seems to be uplifted by this. None more so than the actual San Antonio Spurs and the people surrounding that orbit. This has been a boon for the city of San Antonio. And we heard about this from Adrian Wojnarowski quite a ways ago, what he means to a city. And I think what he means is far more than we ever even truly gave credit for. The economic impact, but the revitalization of a fan base, it is beyond all of that. He has put this city on the map in a way that they were only on when they were winning titles. And even then so, they didn't get this kind of treatment from the media. The city of San Antonio and Spurs fans know this because they've spent years complaining about how they've been neglected by the media. But that was by choice of the Spurs. Tim didn't want the spotlight. This was about winning and winning only. Now it's about winning, and Victor doesn't quite hate the spotlight as much. As a matter of fact, he grew up in the attention of the media, and he knows how to handle it perfectly and deal with it. He doesn't mind it. He doesn't shy away from it. And it opens himself to the city so much more than anything else in the Spurs franchise. And everything that you've heard from this kid is just something you want to get behind. You think about the way that he's grown up with all eyes on him since he was like 13 years old, because he's been the next for a long time. It's so relieving to hear him talk, not just about basketball or off the court, but even when he talks about dealing with the mass attention that has followed him for as long as it has. He just sounds like such an older soul that has been through so much more and understands so much more about this world.
This is the life I wanted. This is what I worked for, and this is what I've been wanting for a long time. So it feels normal to me. But for my family, I know it's got to be weird sometimes. It's got to be strange. There's a lot of new stuff, And but they're really smart and grounded people. So this is really, whenever I need to find stability, I can go to them, and I know they're never gonna turn on me, and this is really they're really the stability in my life. So they're behind all this.
He says all the right things at every single turn. And there are few people in this life that seem to bat 1,000 at the microphone. He is one of them. And I feel like that makes him and sets him apart so much. At least with Tim, there wasn't a want, a need. As a matter of fact, there was an active avoidance to social media, to the media in general, which is why San Antonio was basically kind of covered the way they were, because the Spurs helped to make Tim happy. And in doing so, they kept the media at arm's length. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out moving forward now that you hear from Wemby and knowing what he's like. If not only does things open up more, which you would expect with the way that they handled this press conference. One, it was at the AT&T Center, which is far different from anything we've ever seen before. There was a video montage kind of before it. There was coverage from every network. There was a Lego Eiffel Tower on the stage. Like, everything was excess and extra, more so than the Spurs have ever done for such an event. So it's a changing of the guard. And I remember earlier, Jason was talking with Michelle Beadle about, what's it going to be? Is it going to be the Spurs kind of coming to Wemby side, or is it going to be Wemby kind of coming over to the Spurs side of the media? And realistically, it's probably going to be a meet in the middle between the two. The Spurs are going to open up and do more things than we've ever seen them do before as an organization, while Wemby, likely, he doesn't seem like he's overt, but I imagine there'll be some toning down of media obligations that he does, because like Jason said earlier today on the Blitz, when he was at the press conference, there was a look of tiredness because, let's face it, he's been a whirlwind. He played a ton of games, made it all the way to the series final. As soon as he finished the French Pro A Series final, gets on a plane, heads to New York, goes through all those media obligations up to the draft, emotionally drained during the draft. You could tell because of all that energy that it was expunged that night, and finally becoming a Spur, which is what he wanted in the first place. And moving forward, it takes a lot out of you, and he's been through a lot, which is why I think some of the news came down earlier today that he wasn't going to be playing for the French national team in the FIBAs. And R&R in the morning, Rob and Rudy kind of reacted to that news in the moment as it happened.
And this is huge news. Comes after a couple of dinners, and we've talked about this. Victor Wembanyama has announced that he is reversing his decision and will not play for France in the World Cup and focus his rookie season with the Spurs and then on the 2024 Olympics. So not focusing on the big stuff.
Put on your French glasses. How you feel?
Not happy.
Or are you happy for him and you understand?
You know where the Olympics are?
The Olympics in 2024 are in Paris.
Yes. So then they'll have him, they hope, for the Paris Olympics. So he's not doing FIBA, I think, is in Thailand. I don't know exactly where the FIBA is. So what do you think this means? As will we get to see more of him at the rookie league coming up in a week and a half? We do have. We'll tell you later. We have a schedule.
Yeah, Wemby's still planning to play in at least some of the Spurs summer league games in July. So I don't know if that's Cali. I don't know if it's Cali and Vegas. I don't know if it's just Vegas.
It ain't Cali.
But well, the thing about it is, I know the FIBA means a lot to the rest of the world.
It does.
But I guess it's a good decision on his part. Get ready for the Spurs season.
It's not.
That's a lot of basketball considering he just finished and then
Yeah.
the summer league and then FIBA. That's a lot.
And also, we talked
Now I
about it.
see
He's
why
19.
Pop said the other day, well, we're still discussing that.
Yeah.
That hasn't been decided yet.
I imagine they probably took a number like over the next 365 days, we'd like to see you play in 80 games. And we'll figure out what those 80 games are.
Yeah, he said, quote, it would not be realistic in terms of development and not prudent in terms of health. That's a quote from Wemby. That's what he told. And here we go. Back to Tony's old paper. El Equipe.
The second part of that, about the development. And I think that's the primary thing that if I'm Pop and I'm the assistant coaches is I got to get this guy out of FIBA mode. I got to get this guy out of international basketball mode. And I got to get him to start thinking in NBA mode because those are two different games.
Well, he said that, the Spurs would have supported any decision, but he did also quote himself, Rob, saying, I hope people will understand. It said it's frustrating for me too. France is still central for me. I want to win as many titles with that team as possible, but I think it's a necessary sacrifice.
I was earlier this morning on R&R in the morning when the news first broke that Victor Wembanyama would not be playing in the FIBA World Cup. Now, you have to think about it, and the more you read about this guy and how highly intellectual he is, taking care of his body, everything that he does. He played in 62 games with the Mets 92 in the French League, going all the way to the finals, including his first season with the Spurs and planning to play for the Olympics in 2024. He calculated that he was playing 170 games in a 24-month span. FIBA World Cup just seemed like too much at that point. And I feel he may have had plans to play in the FIBA World Cup this whole time. But I do believe after he was drafted, maybe at that dinner, maybe other places, things were brought up like this, like, hey, look at this. And he came to the decision on his own based on the information given to him. Like there may have been Pop, Spurs brass just pointing out what he was going through and what he was about to embark upon, which, given that information, all right, let's get ready for the NBA season. There's a lot that I'm going to have to undertake. I'm transitioning from a different league with different rules into a new league with new rules. Let's get acclimated to that rather than continue to play upon these old rules that I know. And let's get into NBA season so I can play as well as I can there and also get enough rest to recoup my body for when the actual Olympics come next year in Paris, and I can be ready for that instead. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am Pledger. You can follow me on Twitter at I am Pledger, or you can get us on the phone line at 656 ESPN 210-656-3776, like Anthony Bernthal did, telling me to kick some ass today. I appreciate that, my man. You can also get at me on our YouTube page. We're streaming live at SA Sports Star. You can comment along in the sections there. What do you think of Wemby's idea to sit down and not participate in what is such a big part of him? And I think that the dinner he had a huge to do with that. And we're going to get into that when we come back right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM and sasportstar.com.
It's R&R in the morning.
Tuesday on R&R in the morning, we take a look at ESPN's list of the best weapons in the NFL, and NBA free agency gets going Friday. We start looking toward it.
And, of course, we got a brand new NCAA baseball champ. Oh, and it's on this day. We're going to catch you up on all things in the past, as people who forget history are doomed to repeat it.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music. News, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey, San Antonio, take pride in your health. Regardless of your profile status, know your health status. No shame, no judgment. Practice safe sex and get tested. Call 210-207-8830 for more information or find us on social media using #IKnowMyStatusSA.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room, or online at tsaog.com. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds are one of the boldest, protein-packed, and low-carb snacks out there. And with flavors that will have you craving for more, you'll want to stock up on Southern Recipe small batch at your local HEB. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds today. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous. Find your flavor at southernrecipesmallbatch.com.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
Car wrecks can wreck your life and leave you with medical bills, lost wages, and lasting pain. That's why you should call Hilly and Solis. Hilly and Solis are former prosecutors that know how to fight and know how to win. Contact them at 210-762-6261.
Principal office in San Antonio, Texas. Message brought to you by a non-attorney spokesperson.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson for Tri-County Meat Market, your locally owned full-service meat market. Tri-County has two great locations, Keebner Road and Ralph Fair, stocked full of everything you need to up your grilling game. You're looking for the perfect cut of beef, they've got it. And if they don't have it, they'll cut it for you. Roast chicken, prepare foods, they've got it. The 5 for $25 is always in play. If you're a first responder, 10% off the best meat you're going to find. Tri-County Meat Market. Head over to either location, put some good meat on the grill, and thank me later.
The Rangers open an 8-game homestand tonight with the first of 4 against the Tigers. Hi, everybody. This is Matt Hicks inviting you to join Jared Sandler, Mike Beasley, and me. Our coverage of tonight's game begins at 6:30
on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back to Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM and sasportstar.com. I'm James Pledger. We're going to get you ready for Rangers-Tigers series opener today, back from Globe Life Field. Beautiful ballpark, if I may not add. Got some time there a couple of weeks ago to go up, check it out. Got to watch the game in a suite. That was pretty sweet. Got to go down the field, shag some fly balls. The park itself is absolutely gorgeous. Stunning park. If you get a chance, go check out the Rangers, the new ballpark. It is really cool. I enjoy Globe Life Field a lot. But yeah, Rangers Tigers coming up here at the bottom of the hour with the pregame and then 7:05 first pitch from Globe Life Field in Arlington. We've been talking a lot about Wemby because, well, Wemby. Wemby has had such an impact on everything going around, and the Wemby effect, as it's so called, including being one of the most viewed drafts of all time. Their social media department saying 128 million video views for the draft, 36 million of those for Wemby, also first among draftees. Their Instagram feed generated the most views in a video in the month of June. Like, Wemby has done so much for the game already and will do so much for the Spurs moving forward just in that aspect, especially in his first year. We're talking about preseason games. Their preseason schedule dropped today, and we already know that people are going to make plans to go check out Wemby. So it's going to be very, very interesting as this moves on. But I think about things, and we're talking about how wise beyond his years is it. He blew JJ Redick's mind in a video when talking about, everything going on and dealing with all the noise. And JJ Redick was talking about wanting to be as enlightened as he was and how he was only 19 years old and it was blowing his mind. But Sean Elliott was on the Dan Patrick show today, and there's been a lot made of this dinner that they went through. And it was the dinner with the photo that has been circulating that everybody's aware of, with Tim and Manu, and Pop was there. Sean Elliott was there. David Robinson was there. And he walks in, and you figured there was a game plan. Like, hey, we're going to sit down, we're going to have dinner, we're going to do all these things. Not quite the case, according to Sean Elliott on Dan Patrick earlier today, saying kind of just off the cuff, took the dinner for what it was.
No, not at all. We just, Pop told me when he called me, just, hey, you guys can ask him questions, and he's going to ask you a lot of questions, and that's basically what it was. And it was nice because everybody around the table got to go around and talk about their NBA experience and what you can expect, and give him some tips and some pointers about how to prepare himself, how to get ready for the season, how to endure the gruel. And so it was a lot of fun. But on his end too, he's a very, very mature young man, Dan, and he asked all the right questions. I mean, I think we all came away from that dinner just even more excited, more enthusiastic than we'd ever been.
So you hear that and you start to wonder, what are those questions?
Just questions about how to prepare your body, how to get rest, what the travel schedule is like, because you're coming from playing 55 to 60 games to playing 82. I think he wants to play as many games as he possibly can, but he's already somebody who is very in tune with eating the right way, getting his rest. He asked us all if, how can you get enough sleep on the road? I mean, what kind of young person asked that question? I mean, most guys are like, hey, what's the best club to go to in Philly or New York? He's asking how he can get rest on back-to-backs. And so, again, just, really mature and wise beyond his years.
The more you hear from and about this kid, the more excited you become. And I can parlay that into being a Texans fan, because the more you hear about CJ Stroud and the more you see from mini camps and hear about him from mini camps and about his leadership and about the way he goes the game, you get super excited. Now take that and dial it up to 100 on the meter, because that's what Victor Wembanyama is, because that has a worldwide appeal. Victor brings overseas. He brings all the eyes from the United States. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Spurs preseason games nationally televised. ESPN pick one up this preseason. It wouldn't shock me at all. So it's going to be fun as this goes on. We have so much here in San Antonio to be thankful for, excited for, as we move into the future with Victor Wembanyama. And that becomes now, how do you build around him? That's going to be the focus probably on tomorrow's Extra Innings with Pledger, because we're getting ready for Rangers baseball. But first, we get to pull one out the door.
Pour me, pour me, pour me, pour me.
As I pour one out the door on the way out, who I'm pouring it out for the door on, you may be surprised, or you may just wonder where or who I'm even talking about. This weekend, Astros prospect Pedro Leon in AAA hit for the cycle. It's a rare feat, no matter what level you do it on, but what makes Pedro Leon's cycle even more rare is he hit for the reverse cycle. Home run, triple, double, single in a minor league game. That's incredible. Congratulations to Pedro Leon. We now take you to Rangers and Tigers opening of a 3-game set up in Arlington.
America's Diamond offers our 5-year, 60-month financing program every day of the year. You don't have to wait for a sale to get 5-year financing with credit approval or wait for a sale to get